Hey, what's up guys? It's Angel Santowski. I'm back with another UFC prediction video. This time UFC Fight Night Whittaker versus the Ritter. This event goes down Saturday, July 26th, 2025. And it's going down from Abu Dhabi. The event starts at noon Eastern time. So let's get into it, guys. This card probably isn't fully filled up with fights, but we got 9 fights. And that's going to make up the majority of the card. So let's get into it, guys. Aslan against Billy Elikana. Billy Elikana coming off a loss, 30 years old. Lost to Bogdan Guskov, and he was looking bad in that fight. Again, I'm not really super high on Bogdan in the light heavyweight division because, like I said, I do think there's some weakness to his game, but Billy took that on short notice and got put out of there. Aslan, this guy's looked good, man. He proved me wrong. Well, no. He proved me wrong. I had him against Ian Cutelaba, and Cutelaba, man, he's showing a really well-rounded game. Again, I think Cutelaba just won again. No, he lost. He lost to Modestas Bukakas, but a lot of people say he should have beat Bukakas in that fight. And I think so too. I scored it for Cutelaba, but oh well. That's how it goes sometimes with the judges. So again, Aslan lost to Cutelaba, got submitted. But he's had some wins prior to that. So I don't know. I think I'm going to side with Aslan here. Again, they match up really well. I mean, this can go either way. I don't think there's odds for this fight yet. We only got 3 sets of odds for this card so far. But I'm going to side with Aslan. Asu Amabayev against Ramazan Temirov. So Amabayev, we've seen him lose to Manel Kopp. He was just kind of outmatched. I know there was a couple eye pokes and whatnot, but he just kind of showed that he just was not on that level that Kopp is on currently. Again, he's got some good wins prior to that, man, over Vergara, Johnson, Nicolau. So he's definitely worthy of a UFC roster spot. Temirov, 11-fight win streak, 28 years old. Beat Charles Johnson, CJ Vergara. I mean, this is a really good fight. Kind of hate to see them matched up against each other. They're both from, those countries near Russia. So again, who am I picking here? I'm taking Temirov, but again, I won't be surprised if Amabayev pull this off. Bryce Mitchell against Ayed Nurmagomedov. Nurmagomedov, he's coming off a loss to Vinicius Oliveira. We know how good Oliveira was. I mean, those guys put on an absolute war with each other when they fought. And again, Bryce Mitchell, I think he could probably get the takedowns, probably get some control time on Syed Nurmagomedov, but Nurmagomedov is gonna probably hurt him on the feet. And I just don't think Bryce Mitchell's all the way in this anymore, man. He could beat guys that just have a really subpar grappling game, but when guys have any sort of striking, he just doesn't have it. So again, I won't be surprised if Bryce wins just based on control time and stuff. He probably is the better grappler here, but I'm going to go with Syed Nurmagomedov here. Amanda Ribas against Tabitha Ricci. I'm just not high on Ribas anymore. I think we know what she is at this point in her career, and like I said, she's not going to be the champion anytime soon, in my opinion. Lost to Dern. I had a bet on Dern, so I was happy there. Lost to Namajunas. That was the main event spot back in 2024. Beat Luana Pinheiro. Lost to Barber. Beat Viviana Rougeau. So 2-3 in her last 5. Tabitha Ricci. She's coming off again a loss to Yan Jonan. We know how good Yan Jonan is, man. She's a tough woman to beat. Wins over Angela Hill and Tisha Pennington prior to that. So again, I don't know. I'm gonna side with the slightly younger woman here in Tabitha Ricci. But this is an evenly matched fight, and let's see how it goes. Peter Yan against Marcus McGee. I mean, UFC is really giving Marcus McGee a step up here, man. 8-fight win streak, 35 years old. Wins over Jonathan Martinez, Gaston Bolanos, JP Baez, Journey. I mean, so he's got a lot of wins, man. He's 5-0 in the UFC. But Peter Yan, a lot of people think that, hey, man, maybe he deserved the rematch with Merab. I don't know if I was quite there yet, but they gave it to O'Malley, and it's the bigger business, and I think O'Malley is more well-rounded than Peter Yan. Again, Peter Yan, 2-fight win streaks. Good wins over Davison Figueiredo and Yudong Song, but I kind of always knew Davison wasn't going to pan out at bantamweight. Not in the top echelon, at least. Yudong Song, he's really looked good, so I think that's a really impressive win, because Song is a tough fighter to beat. You kind of got to be an elite bantamweight to beat Song, and he did. He fought smart. He got control time on him. And so I'm going to side with Peter Yan here. It won't shock me at all, though, if Marcus McGee pulls an upset. It's a 3-round fight. So, again, anything can happen, but I'm going to side with Yan here. Shara Magomedov against Marc-Andre Barriault. Again, Barriault probably saved his UFC career by picking up that knockout win over Bruno Silva, but, you know, one of those guys was probably going to get knocked out, and it happened to be Silva. Shara, he's coming off that loss to Michael Venom Page. He just had no answers for that guy's, for his distance and his reach advantage, and Michael Page just beat him in a kickboxing fight, man. It was just that simple. And, you know, I don't know if that was really good matchmaking for the UFC, because I think Page is dropping back down to welterweight, so it didn't help Shara's stock any, but I think Shara's going to get the win here again. I think he's going to knock out Barriault. Just a better striker, more power. So my pick will be Shara. Nikita Krylov against Bogdan Guskov. Again, Guskov, he's been on a nice roll here. A 3-fight winning streak, 32 years old. Wins over Billy Alakina, Ryan Spann, Zach Pauga. So again, he's getting guys out of there. I think Nikita Krylov's probably the better fighter here. More well-rounded, better grappling game. Again, he just stood with Dominic Reyes too long. He got knocked out pretty bad. And again, he should have kind of took it to the ground, but he wanted to trade punches, and he ends up losing. But I'm going to side with Nikita Krylov here. Maybe Bogdan keeps his winning streak going and picks up the win here, but I'm going to side with Krylov. Movsar Evloev against Aaron Pico. Again, I'm going to side with Evloev here. This guy should be fighting Volkanovski next. I don't know why he's fighting Pico. Nice win over Sterling, and that was a very competitive fight. Arnold Allen, another good featherweight, man. Diego Lopez, who just fought Volkanovski last. I mean, so, again, the UFC's kind of trying to keep this guy away from the title. Aaron Pico, again, very hyped prospect. 3-fight winning streak, coming over from Bellator / PFL. Again, but he's about to face a stiff test up in competition. And I just don't think he's ready for Evloev. So I'm going to side with Movsar here to pick up the win. Robert Whittaker against Reinier de Ridder. Again, we haven't seen Whittaker, since, was it October? October, man. And that Hamzat fight finally took place, and Hamzat not locked in a nasty face crank on him. Again, I really would have liked to have seen that fight play out more rounds and seen what Whittaker could have done, but it didn't end up going that way. He, got a dislocated jaw or whatever. And again, they're giving Robert Whittaker another prospect here. I mean, I know Reinier de Ridder's been around for a while. He's been around in ONE FC. So he's been around for a while. He's fought 5-round fights, I believe. And like I said, he's 3-0 in the UFC, and he's finished every one of his UFC opponents. So I definitely understand the UFC here, man, kind of fast tracking this guy up the middleweight division, seeing what he can do. If he loses, it's not going to be a huge setback or nothing like that. Whittaker is a top tier middleweight contender. Guy's been around the top part of the middleweight division, man, for 7-8 years now. Or longer, probably almost 10 years, you know what I'm saying? So, again, Reinier de Ridder, slightly younger fighter here. He's going to have a big reach advantage. I think he's showing some good stand-up now. Yeah, he's got a 4.5-inch reach advantage, 4-inch height advantage. So, no, he's a slightly older fighter here. And, again, he doesn't have the UFC 5-round experience, so that might come into Whittaker. And Whittaker, man, he has beat other prospects the UFC has given him, man. He's beat Krylov, man. He destroyed Krylov real fast, a year ago, and he's beat Vettori. He lost to Duplessis, which was a shocker to me. I kind of thought that he was gonna stop the Duplessis run, but Duplessis runs through Whittaker, and man, that was just, once I saw Duplessis do that, I was like, oh my god, this guy is for real. Again, we seen Adesanya to dethrone Whittaker for the middleweight belt back in 2019. I mean, Whittaker's fought a who's who, man. Definitely a future UFC Hall of Famer, man, no doubt. This guy's fought a who's who at middleweight, man. A lot of guys that have retired now are no longer with the promotion, man. This guy's fought Derek Brunson, Jacare, Yoel Romero twice, Uriah Hall, Brad Tavares. I mean, this guy, man, this guy's definitely a UFC Hall of Famer, man. So, beat Kelvin Gastelum. I mean, this guy, he stepped up for the UFC promotion, man, for a long time, for well over a decade, man. This guy stepped up and fought anybody that the UFC wanted to match him up with, man. So I got nothing but respect for Robert Whittaker, man. And like I said, Rainer de Ritter, he's looked good, man. And I didn't think this guy was going to pan out in the UFC. He didn't look that good against Gerald Meerschaert to me. Ends up, submitting Gerald Meerschaert in the third round. Absolutely schooled Kevin Holland on the ground. But again, Kevin Holland really has no business being at middleweight. And then again, he just kind of exposed Bull Nickel. And, got a TKO victory when it needed a body. So again, I think he could, have the ground advantage over Whittaker here. Even though Whittaker, I know, is really good on the ground as well. Possibly could hurt Whittaker, man. Whittaker's just not the same anymore. But again, I could see Whittaker, taking over this fight and just kind of, outlanding him, outvoluming him, landing more volume than him. So again, it's just really about the odds in this fight, and we're getting plus 123 with de Ritter. It was a lot higher, so hopefully more money comes in on Whittaker, because I am going to pick de Ritter here to pull off the win. So again, guys, my picks: de Ritter, Evloev, Krylov, Magomedov, Jan, Ricci, Nurmagomedov, Temirov, and I'm going to go with Aslan here.